Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Shrivastava and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video, we write the Java program to find the boundary elements, non-boundary elements, left diagonal elements, right diagonal elements in 2D arrays in Java. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 viewers, only 2 to 3 are subscribed. More than 95% of my audience is not subscribed, and your subscription is very important. So please do subscribe to my channel. Alright, so we have to find in a 2D array in Java the boundary elements, the non-boundary elements, left diagonal elements and right diagonal elements. And diagonal elements are for square matrices where the number of rows and the number of columns are equal. And then at the end of the video, we also see if we can create a 2D array of strings and 2D array of characters. Okay, so I've already taken some code, okay, that reads the value of m and n. M is the number of rows, n is the number of columns. It validates the value of m and n, which is in the ranges. M and n both have to be greater than 2 and less than 10. Okay, so when you are solving a ISC practical papers, you take m and n values as input, and then you also validate if they are in the valid range. Okay, then there is a code to create a matrix, read the elements into the matrix and print the matrix. Okay, we code these functions to print boundary elements, non-boundary elements, left diagonals and right diagonals. Okay, so let me just run this. Okay, so I have 4 rows, 4 columns, and my elements are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16, and I'll just copy and paste and keep it here so that I don't have to type this again and again. All right, pressing enter to run this. This is my original matrix. Okay, so reading the number of rows, number of columns, reading the matrix elements, printing the matrix works. Now how do I find first the boundary elements? So if this is my 2D array A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P, okay, rows are 0 1 2 3, column indices are 0 1 2 3. Okay, boundary elements would be these 4, these 3, these 2 and these. That is, the boundary elements for the first row is going to be A B C D. Okay, so if I say boundary elements, okay, first row, last row is M N O P. Okay, then first column, okay, first column will be A E I M, but we have already printed A and M in the first row and the last row. Okay, so if the requirement of the question is to print it again, we print A E I M. Okay, and in this case we are printing A and M again. They were already printed. Okay, similarly for the last column, okay, elements would be D, H, okay, L and P, where D and P we have already printed. D and P we have already printed. Okay, again it depends upon the requirement of the question if you are supposed to print these elements again or not. These corner elements, we are printing them twice. If you don't want to print them twice, you simply print E and I, these two, because A was printed with the first row and M was printed with the last row. Okay, similarly for the last column, you ignore the first and the last element, so you don't print D and H, you simply print H and L. Okay, H and L, because D was printed with the first row, P was printed with the last row. Depends upon the requirement. Okay, because at times you get a question where you have to find the sum of all the boundary elements, so if you include them twice, your sum will not match. Okay, or the other way you could do is you can start with the columns first. You could say first column or, okay, boundary elements would be or, first column would be A E I M, last column would be D H L and P, and then you include the row. Okay, so you're going column and then the rows, first and the last row. And since again A and D have been including in the first and the last column, we just print B and C, not including A and D again. And similarly the last row, okay, since M and P are already included in the first and the last column, we simply print N and O, these two elements only. Okay, this is all just to make sure that you don't pick up the same element twice. You're not picking up the corner element twice. Okay, if there is a specific requirement that you have to pick them up twice, you pick them up twice. Okay, So all I have to do is I go with the first approach here, where I print first row, first column, last column, print first row, okay, print last row, okay, print first column, print last column, okay. So printing the first row has row index 0, and you have to iterate all columns of this row. So I'll take j equal to 0, j is less than number of columns, so number of rows and number of columns I can identify from this variable holding the 2D array, okay. Number of columns are n, j plus plus, okay. System.out.print, okay, matrix of, this is the first row, so row index is 0, column plus space, okay. Similarly, the last row, I iterate all the columns, and in this case the row value is going to be the last row index, which is m minus 1, okay. So in this case m is equal to 4, okay. So 0 1 2 3, last row is going to be m minus 1, okay. Now printing the first column. In printing the column, you have to iterate the rows of the column. So you start with I equal to 0, okay, I is less than m, I plus plus, okay. When you start from 0 till less than m, 0 till less than m, you're including all the elements of the column, okay. We don't want to include the first and the last, so you skip the first by starting from index 1, okay. We are skipping this value a because it is already printed with the first row. We start from index 1, okay. My row number starts from index 1. Similarly, I don't want to include m, so I don't go till the last, I go till the second last, okay. And now I print, okay, this is first column, so row index and first column. Similarly for the last column, okay, and I will write a comment, not printing the first and the last elements of this column again, okay. Similarly this, and the last column is going to be the same, except this column, instead of 0 I have n minus 1, okay. When this is all printed, I change a line, okay. So I say, call this function system.out.println, print boundary elements, okay. I'll say boundary elements, okay, print boundary elements with this matrix, okay. Taking this input for 4 rows and 4 columns, 4 rows 4 columns, okay. Boundary elements are 1 2 3 4, okay. We start with the first row, then the last row 13 14 15 16, then first column excluding the first and the last element, so 5 and 9 only, and then 8 and 12, okay. If I start from 0, okay, go till less than m, then 1 and 13 will be included again. So if I do this, okay, then we see 1 and 13, okay, 1 coming again, 13 coming again. We don't want that, okay. That's not the requirement for us, okay. If it is a requirement, you change that, okay. Similarly for the last column, 8 and 12, 8 and 12, okay. Running this again, okay, right. We can add a change in line here, okay, change in line here as well, okay, and make this print, okay. So now when I run this, okay, let me copy the let me just try some other input. -9 3 45 7 34 1 90 57 8 4 55 3 90 48 65 83, okay. So boundary elements are -9 3 45 7, then 90 80 45 63 83, sorry, then 34 and 8, and 34 and 57 and 3, okay. Your boundary elements. Next we move on to non-boundary elements. So non-boundary elements in this case are these inner ones, okay. So in case of non-boundary elements, okay, non-boundary elements, it's just that you don't include the first row, you don't include the first column, you don't include the last row, you don't include the last column, okay. So when you're normally regularly iterating this 2D array to print, you start from I equal to 0 till I is less than m for m rows, Okay, m rows and n columns. And similarly for j equal to 0, you go till j is less than n for n columns. Okay, this includes the entire 2D array when you're trying to print it. When you're trying to ignore the first row and ignore the last row, instead of I equal to 0, okay, you start from I equal to 1 and you go till I less than m minus 1. Start from the second row, ignore the last row. Similarly, you start from the second column, ignore the last column. So j equal to 1 till j is less than 2, j less than n minus 1. Okay, so just same thing as printing this. Okay, same nested loop, but instead of 0, start from 1 till m minus 1, 1 till n minus 1. Okay, I'll say system.out.print, not printf is not needed here, ij plus a space, this is not needed, oh this is needed at the end. Okay, and then I find m and n as well. Okay, all right, so I'll say print non-boundary elements, print non-boundary elements. Okay, running this, let's try our first case. Okay, so 4 4 and okay, so boundary elements we know, non-boundary elements will be 6 7 10 11, which is what we want. Okay, let's try again for say 3 comma 4, 3 rows 4 columns, so 1 2 3 4 11 90 minus 5 7 23 4 67 2, 3 rows 4 columns. These are the only non-boundary elements. 95, so 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 for boundary, 23 4 67 2, 23 4 67 2, 11 and 7. Okay, next we move on to the left diagonal. So left diagonal is also called sometimes the principal diagonal, and right diagonal is also sometimes called the secondary diagonal. Okay, so left diagonal is when row and column indices are the same. Okay, so for this, if I make this again, I've already made a lot of hodgepodge here. So A B C D E F G H, okay, I J K L M N O P. Okay, so this is the left diagonal. Okay, so if these are column indices, row indices, this is 0 0 1 1 2 2 3 3. Okay, so for left diagonal, okay, I equal to j is the condition, row index equal to column index. These are the right diagonal elements. Okay, these. Okay, so in this case it is, this is 0 comma 3 1 comma 2 2 comma 1 and 3 comma 0. Okay, so I for right diagonal, okay, I plus j equal to n minus 1, because these are valid for square matrices. Okay, where m equal to, okay, all right, okay, for square matrices, okay, requirement is m is equal to n, so m equal to n. So left diagonal will be where I and j are equal. Okay, so all you have to do is iterate the entire 2D array, okay, the entire matrix, or this takes the matrix as well, right? So into matrix. Okay, the condition is if I equal to j, okay, you print this, right? And since this is only one single line in the if block, then these curly braces become optional, so I can directly write this statement. Okay, so I really don't need this. Okay, all right, so removing them. Okay, so if I equal to j, I print this, and let's just do this print and a space. Okay, 0 to m, 0 to n, and I change a line after I print all the elements. Okay, so this is my left diagonal. Okay, let me just try this. Print left diagonal elements, left. Okay, print left diagonal. Okay, now running it with this very example 4 into 4, this is our left diagonal, right? Okay, so 4 4. Okay, so 1 6 11 and 16. Okay, 1 6 11 16, these elements. Okay, similarly my right diagonal would be this takes the matrix as well. Okay, I just say I plus j equal to n or m minus 1. Okay, m and n will be the same because it's supposed to be a square matrix when you find the right diagonal. Okay, right diagonal 0 to n. Okay, I say print right. I'll say right the right diagonal. Okay, so right diagonal is I plus j equal to minus 1. So we should get 4, 7, 10, 13 for right diagonal. Copying this again, right diagonal, right, 4, 7, 10, 13. Okay, let's take another example. 3 into 3, so 12, 4, 56. Okay, minus 9, 0, 48, 24, 73 and 99. So boundary elements are except everything from 0. So we get only 0 as the boundary element. Left diagonal will be 12, 0, 99 and right diagonal will be 56, 0, 24, which is correct. Okay, and you can also identify the corner elements from this. Corner elements are going to be 0, 0, the first one. Okay, the last element in the first row, which is going to be 0, and last column is n minus 1. Then the first element of the last row, which is going to be last row is m minus 1 comma 0, and then the last row, last column, which is m minus 1 and n minus 1. Okay, so you can also print corner elements. Okay, so static void print corner elements. Okay, takes in a matrix. Okay, mn. Okay, corner elements would now be, I don't need to iterate, I simply print this out, matrix of 0 comma 0 plus a space. Okay, okay, 4 elements. So first element of the first row, last element of the first row is going to be 0, n minus 1, first element of the last row. Okay, and last element of the last row. Yeah, okay, last row, last column. Okay, okay, so you can also do print corner elements. Okay, corner elements, print corner elements. Okay, running this with this very case. Okay, 4, 4, 1, 4, 13 and 16. Okay, so this was your program to find boundary, non-boundary, left diagonal, right diagonal. Now what if you have to read a 2D array of strings or characters? All you have to do is replace this by next to read the next string. And if you have to read a 2D array of characters, you read next, you read a string and then you extract the first character. Okay, so read 2D array of strings. So all you have to do is use next. Okay, and in this case our matrix is going to be string matrix equal to new string. Okay, comment these out. Okay, and I cannot call any of these functions because they all run for string integers. Okay, I simply just call print. I can overload this, right? I can say write print with string, and instead of %d use %s. Okay, and maybe say %6s. Okay, so now this should be okay. All right. Okay, so instead of reusing next int, I simply use next. So I can have 4 words, then 4 words, then 4 words. So if I do 3, 3, name Balkrishna Srivastava, welcome to Code with BK. So 3 rows, 3 columns, and each element in the 2D array will be a string. So one last row, love Java coding. Okay, so I get this original matrix. Okay, if I make this a percent 11s. Okay, run this again. 4 my name is Balkrishna. Okay, I love to code. Warm welcome to Code with BK. Please like and subscribe. Okay, 4 rows, 4 columns, each word will occupy each location. So this is my original matrix. Okay, and then you can use all the same code to find the boundary elements, print the boundary elements, print non-boundary, print left diagonal, right diagonal, corner elements. Instead of int, just use string. Okay, just as I overloaded this print matrix from int to string, everything else remains the same. Okay, if you want to read characters, we can also do this. Create a char matrix. Okay, so this is going to be %4s, and since this is the character, I'm gonna add it to a blank string to print. Okay, these format specifiers are explained in detail in the system.out.printf video. Okay, you can choose to simply use print as well, but printf I'm more comfortable in printing a formatted output, so that's why I use this. Okay, so for char, okay, I say read 2D array of characters. Okay, so I will have to create a 2D array of characters. Okay, and I comment this out. Okay, so instead of next, what you have to do is next dot char at 0, because the character would be a single character. You read it as a string, so it will be like a string with a single character, and then you extract the first character from it using char at 0. Okay, and then you print the original matrix, and since we have overloaded this function, okay, it should print correctly. Okay, so when I run this, I say 4 I say question mark 0 3 r. Okay, all these are 4 single character constants, will be saved as single characters. Then add hash $%. Okay, then 9 3 et question mark plk. So original matrix is this. Okay, and just to maybe print corner elements, okay, static void print corner elements, I'll say char matrix. Yep, everything else remains the same. Yep, so I can call print corner elements. Okay, because I've overloaded this for char. Okay, running this again, 4 question mark hash 34 add %6 and 0956 exclamation dot comma and plus equal to symbol. Okay, all right, so this is a corner element, this is a corner element, this is a corner element, this is a corner element. Okay, so this is how you can read the input of 2D array of characters. Okay, all right, these 3 codes are very similar. Okay, you're using next int here, then you're using next here, then you're using next character. Okay, there will not be a case, I can be very sure of that, where you have 2D array of strings where each string can contain white space as well. Okay, each string is not a word, each string can contain white space as well. I'm pretty sure they will not give you a question like that. That will involve a lot of input. Okay, so I don't think that will be a question, right? But you may definitely can have a question on characters. Okay, so this was the solution to this problem, and I hope this was helpful. So if there's any doubt, there's a part you don't understand, please let me know in the comments. And you can also let me know in the comments if there's a question you want to solve or if there's a concept you want to discuss. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.